Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade. Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade.
Private jet flights overseas. Damn piece.
What is up, Facebook? This is the Toxic Masculinity Show. I am your host, MoneyBoy Trey. Today we are talking about if corporal punishment is good or bad. Do we need more of it? Do we need less of it? With my guy, Savage Red Recovery. But before we get into that topic, Savage Red, I heard you make some comments on Tommy Sotomayor's show yesterday around the lines of repealing the 19th Amendment. And when I initially heard those comments, I was kind of like, well, that's a little bit radical. But after listening to the interview with Ice Cube and the Cocktails with Queens platform, and hearing how the women talked on there, I have to say you made some very strong points to why we should repeal the 19th Amendment. So could you tell me why you feel like we should repeal the 19th Amendment?
So I think that the 19th Amendment needs to be repealed, and it needs to they need to come up with a new amendment and alter the way that they did it, because the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote without having to draft or do any sort of service during the night. So that became law in 1919 when we got the right to vote. In 1917. Men tried to say to the Supreme Court that the draft was unconstitutional, and the Supreme Court ruled that in order to be a voter, you had to be able to give back to the community. So it was ruled that the bucket brigades and the helping of the police and helping society as a male was an obligation of being able to vote and helping your country in war. When they gave the 19th Amendment to women, they didn't make them do any of those things. Women don't have to do anything for the right to vote. They just have to be women. So I just don't think that women have enough skin in the game. So I think that the 19th Amendment needs to be repealed, and then they need to make it to where you either have to own property to vote or you have to pay taxes. I don't think that people that don't own anything or don't pay taxes should be able to dictate what happens with law and tax money or anything like that. And as a whole, women don't pay taxes. Women are more of a drain to the economy than they are a net gain.
Hey, you get no argument with me on that. You definitely do not. So, what do you think about this election that's going on tonight? You think it's valuable? Well, my guest cut out. As usual, this is the Toxic Masculinity Show. I'm your host, MoneyBoy Trey. Like, share, subscribe, comment on all social media platforms to follow me. Like, share, subscribe. We are back with Savage Red Recovery. So, Savage, why do you think that we need corporal punishment, sir?
Because I feel that we are raising too many kids to be spoiled brats, for one. Two, discipline is good. Even corporal punishment is good, because you do something wrong, it teaches you to it teaches you to end up having to understand the consequences of your actions. So a problem with society is women don't have to take responsibility for their actions. And we need more people to understand that when you do something, you should think about it before you do it. And corporal punishment, whooping your kids, does that. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to fix every problem in society, because you're going to have kids like me that understand that if I'm 5 minutes late, I'm going to get my ass whooped. Or if I'm 6 hours late, I'm still going to get my ass whooped. So I'm going to contemplate whether the risk to the reward is worth it, and I'm going to do it anyways. But it at least taught me to be accountable for what I was doing.
Does corporal punishment have to mean physically whooping your child?
Well, corporal punishment, when it comes to law, it means that it's the death penalty. Corporal punishment's the death penalty under law, which would be considered to be an extreme measure. So I don't see you being able to ground your kid as corporal punishment.
Dennis, you gonna get blocked. That ain't got shit to do with what I'm talking about. Family or not, you gonna get blocked with that stupid shit.
Trump 2020.
Black Lives Matter. Welcome to my MAGA church, motherfucker. Anywho, but even because me and my mom, we were having this conversation the other day, and she tried to go into the Bible and say that the rod of correction means physically hitting your child, and I was like, no, it doesn't. The rod of correction doesn't specify. I said in other places in the Bible, God will tell you to stone. He's specific. I said, so we took that and ran with it. I don't think the rod of correction or corporal punishment necessarily means physically hitting your child, because me personally, I can get physical correction out of my child by making them run laps or do push-ups.
But did you read the rest of that phrase?
Oh, she did, but I'm telling you what she said. It still didn't. It wasn't specific.
Well, it says if you spare the rod, then you spoil your child. So how do you spare a rod? The rod is, you would be sparing it by not using it.
It doesn't say hit, though.
It doesn't have to say hit.
So why, if it doesn't say hit, how do you get spanking as corporal punishment or rod of correction?
Because it's a rod of correction. And then it states if you don't use the rod, if you spare the rod, mean you don't use the rod, then you are going to spoil your child. So if it's a rod of correction and you don't use it, you're going to spare them. What would you explain to me? How would you use a rod of correction with your child? Tell me what that means.
I just told you. With my 17-year-old son, he's had to do bear crawls. He's had to do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, run laps, all types of things. There's several. You ground them. You take stuff from them.
Okay.
Don't give them allowance.
Okay. So did you hold a rod of correction in your hand? Did you make him hold the rod of correction while he did bear crawls?
I don't know what a rod of correction is, so I didn't, because I don't know what a rod of correction actually is.
It's a fucking rod that you smack motherfuckers with. You know what it is.
No, that's what humans say. I mean, I can agree with why people got that rod of correction, because it's called a rod. She even looked up the definition, but she was shocked because the definition said what she said, and it also said that corporal punishment does not have to be a means of rod of correction. So it's a tricky thing. Dennis, I'm about to add the link into the chat if you would like to hop on.
But you also have to go back to when the way they used the word back then, because the way the Bible's written, it's written in a way that people would understand what they're talking about back then.
Hold up before you go in. Let me remind you, like I did her. Proverbs 30, verse 5 and 6 says, "Do not add to God's word or change it, or you will be rebuked and deemed a liar." So before you go into this explanation of what savages come up with, keep in mind that we can't add to God's word or change it. So that's why I said rod of correction. I can't say what it is.
Yes, I'm not adding or anything like that, but you're going to tell me. So it says in one part, rod of correction, and another part of the Bible, they're stoning motherfuckers that have adultery. But it's specific. But no, like they specifically they didn't understand what rod of correction was back then. Like, come on, man.
So is stoning a rod of correction in your opinion?
Oh.
Or is that worse? Because my mom's, her argument was, well, the stoning is worse. I said, but even still, one has a specific meaning. He told you what to do if your child was hard-headed, what parents are supposed to do. And it said the adults were supposed to do. They were supposed to stone that motherfucker, not spank them.
Yes, because adultery and stoning was a punishment for that thing. The rod of correction was for hard-headed children that didn't listen, because killing your child does not help that child listen.
Beating their ass doesn't either. Technically, it doesn't, because I mean, you do realize there is no proof. You're a stats man like myself. There are no stats that prove it. As I told my mom, that whooping your child's ass works. And I said, if you don't want to take the world's prospect at it, I said, look inside our family. I said, you have sisters and brothers who got their ass whooped. They went to jail. You got nieces and nephews who got their ass whooped. They went to jail. I said, we can even go smaller. We'll just do your own 2 kids, me and my brother. I said, we both got our asses whooped. So you had a 50-50 chance of proving your thesis. We've both been to jail. So there is no proof that it actually cures or keeps you from going to jail or making fucked up decisions, but we can prove that it causes psychological trauma. What say you?
Everything causes psychological trauma.
Touche. Okay.
Your kid steals from the gas station and you go make the kid stand out in front of the fucking store for a week with a sign that says, I'm a thief that steals candy bars from here. Your kid's going to feel some sort of psychological damages when they get older from being humiliated like that. Because if you're going to say it doesn't, then why is there a huge bullying campaign that's going on where you can't bully kids no more because they kill themselves?
I'll answer your question of why is there a huge bullying campaign? Because as you said earlier, women have too much fucking power. Bullying is some women shit. You know why it is? Because all of us men got bullied as fucking kids at one point in time. And we got over it. We fought the bully or we kept taking it.
Yeah, but see, what I'm telling you is the ass whooping makes it makes you more well adjusted.
I think the ass whooping causes PTSD like it does in me. And like when I tried to tell my mom that her excuse was, well, you didn't get a lot of them because you weren't a bad child. I was like, but lady, I remember them. Yes, I remember them.
But there's a thing about smacking your kid on the ass, and there's a thing about grabbing whatever object that's in arm's reach and beating your kid retarded. Like, again,
you said it's a rod.
Yes, but beating your kid to where your kid can't walk is obviously nothing productive about that. That's abuse.
Well, that's the I agree, and that's the hard part about talking about this rod correction, because you specifically said to me it's a fucking rod. You something to beat your kid with.
Yeah, you smack your kid on the ass, bro.
With the rod.
Like, listen, bro. I give my son, I smack him on his ass, and when it's gotten to the point where I've smacked him on his ass, I don't even hit him hard. But I've let him know that his behavior is not good. So when I raise my voice, he freezes whatever he's doing and looks to me to see if what he's doing is all right. My son is super polite. He asks for permission to do everything. Like, one of these days I'll bring him and I'll do a stream with him, and you can see him. He's a good kid. Does he act up? Yeah. Has he been smacked on the ass? Correct. He's almost 4. I'm not going to grab a Hot Wheel track and start swinging it at him. Like, that's retarded.
You know what's funny? I stopped whipping my kids about 5 years ago, so that would have put my oldest child at 12. But what's funny is my mom was telling me with my oldest son, he's cutting up. She was saying that some of the crap he's going through is because he wasn't whooped enough and whatever. But she never has any idea of what I should do with my 2-year-old daughter. When I ask her, should I spank my 2-year-old daughter, there's always a silence. But with the boys, it's beat their ass. And there's something wrong with that to me.
Well, I'm just going to let you know that we live in a day and time of feminism and equality. So these little girls can get it how they live too.
That is why this is the Toxic Masculinity Show. But my little daughter will not say my dad was the first one to physically abuse me and cause me psychological trauma. And that was another driving force of me stopping the spankings too, because it seemed like that's all their moms would call for. It's like I was the big bad wolf. They called me strictly to come over and whoop some ass, and I didn't like having that executioner role. That wasn't cool for me. And so as I came on my spiritual awakening, I felt that as a parent that it wasn't effective for me And I made that decision based on what I went through, what my mom went through. And I saw that in my cousins and their siblings, and I saw that it really wasn't effective. So I said, let me try another way to reach my kids other than
but you also, you have to also understand that when it comes down to parenting, whooping your kid or not whooping your kid isn't going to help if the environment that they live in is fucked up.
No arguments there.
So like it's not just a simple answer. It isn't. Like if you live with your mom and you don't have a dad and the only person you have is a mom and all your mom does is whoop your ass, but your household is fucked up because your mom's on drugs or your mom's fucking any random dude, you've got a new uncle every month. It doesn't really matter what your mom does. It's not a good environment. So you're not going to get the peak optimization of you as a person. Like it's not going to happen. Your stepdad can't be a dope dealer running hookers out the back and beating you is the problem. Like there's more to it than just that.
You're exactly right. So
but
why
the real reason
Go ahead.
But the real reason that you stopped smacking your kids was because you didn't want to be associated with being the one that had to give out the discipline, and you didn't want that to be associated with you being the bad guy.
It was several reasons. Again, that was just one of them. That came afterwards. After I was like, I'm not going to whoop him anymore. I sat back and had retrospect. And you know what? Since I haven't whooped him, you know how many whoopings they've gotten in those 5 years? 0. For me or the mom.
Yeah, because she wasn't doing it to begin with. She was having you do it.
But they still believe in it.
Do the kids act better or worse?
They act the same. They act the same. It's pretty much nothing they did. To me, I don't, other than like you committing a crime, there is no punishment. There is no ass whooping crime for a child other than like committing a serious crime.
Definitely.
Report cards. You broke something. What's something you should spank your child for?
I'm letting you know right now. My kid starts acting full throwing a fit. He's getting smacked in the ass. I'll tell you that right now.
What would cause the fit though?
He's 4. That will cause the fit.
4-year-olds don't just have fits for anything.
Yes, they do.
Could it be
Do you realize? Listen, bro. My son called me that they're what?
Sleepy or hungry or fussy. If us as adults can get grumpy and have moods, we have to understand that our kids could too.
I could understand that. Or I could also understand that he's 4. Like my son calls me at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday to ask me 3,000 times if I'll take him to Walmart to buy him a toy, and then I tell him no, and he still asks to go to Walmart for a toy, and then he throws a fit when he doesn't get a toy.
That's what kids are supposed to do. Weren't you a kid?
And sometimes you get whooped on your ass. Happens.
Glad I'm not your kid, buddy. Glad I'm not your kid. But yeah, I can't say you're wrong because to each its own. But I mean, I just like have to process and be like, that child is 4. So that child is 4. This child is just, it's new to the world. It's not used to rejection. Bro. It's not used to rejection. And I'm not talking about yours. I'm talking to everybody that may be out here spanking kids. I have a 2-year-old. Should I be tapping her on her booty yet? Right now?
If I have to, I'll tap my 2-year-old on her booty.
Okay, what's the appropriate age? What age would you say is a child knows right from wrong to where to be spanked?
2. They definitely know right from wrong at 2.
But they can barely talk.
Yeah, but you say the word no, and they start stopping what they're doing and watching you to wait for you not to be looking. Like they know what they know.
Yeah, they recognize the tones of your voice and stuff, but do
Correct.
they actually have a true understanding of what it is? Because we had that talk, like she was saying that my daughter goes in and starts turning the knobs on the stoves, and I was like, you know what? I said the same time that you put in doing the ignorant shit, teaching her the ignorant shit, like what's up, perking and all that shit. So you have to put that same type of energy into explaining to her why she shouldn't be cutting the stove off and on. I said, because if you think she's smart enough to dance and say all these phrases and stuff, then you can go in there and explain to her why you shouldn't touch it. And we're bumping heads because she wants to spank and I don't want to. And my whole thing to her is if you do something that I don't like, can I just come hit you? Can I spank you? Can I tap your ass because you do something that I don't like?
Well, let's be fair here. Let's be fair here. Yes.
Toxic masculinity does not endorse domestic violence, but for entertainment purposes, keep going. I'm listening.
So you don't smack women on the ass ever?
Not the way I was talking about.
Oh, but you're still doing it, right?
Not really. You gotta say that kind of weirds me out. Like when a chick tells me to call her daddy, that kind of weirds me out. So that spanking falls in the same line of call me daddy. It's weird to me. Done it before, but it's weird.
Okay, well that just means you're a little bit of a prude, but it's cool. I get it. You're square. I get it.
I'm square because I don't like smacking chicks on the ass. I'll take that. No, that's kind of what we're teaching our kids though. You didn't do what I said, or I don't like what you said, and so my response is to hit you. And then they take that out into the world.
Yes, but at the same time, you also have to realize that words don't. Okay, so in reality, in the real world, people are going to hit you. That is a possibility. That's a fact. I'm sure you've been struck by a person out in society one time or another for, what you thought was no reason.
Oh, no, I haven't randomly been hit. I've been hit.
I didn't say randomly.
I've been hit for doing shit. If I was into a fight, I knew why.
Yeah, but guess what?
Oh, you know what? I take it back. One time in high school, I didn't know why. Comes to find out, dude was mad at me because his girl was talking to me.
Well, guess what, though? When I smack my son on his ass, it's for a reason, too. He might not agree with the reason. He might not understand why, but there was a reason.
Bro, you're white. What happened to timeouts?
Listen, bro. Listen. Don't use my skin color to pigeonhole me into punishing my kid, all right?
What happened to timeouts in the cute little doggy leashes y'all have y'all's kids?
That's not all white people. That's not all white people.
95%.
My mom had a paddle that was wooden that had holes drilled through it so it could get more aerodynamics as it went through the air before it hit your ass.
See, those are the devices of torture, and we think that shit is okay because they did it to us. Because truly, that's the only reason you whooped your kid's ass, because it happened to you. And did it keep you from going to jail on the record?
No. But
so,
my
Mom,
sister,
that is three people, Mom. That is three people.
But guess what?
Not even go broad world. That's three people. They said ass whoopings have not stopped them from going to jail.
But guess what, though? All the girls in my family, they got ass whoopings. They didn't go. They've never been to jail.
You hold up, rewind that. Go back. You said what again?
All the women in my family, all the girls, because there's 14 of us. All the girls got ass whoopings when they did things that were wrong, and none of them have been to jail. All the boys, we did get ass whoopings, and we all have been to jail.
So that lets you know that there's no proof that the shit works. It's just a myth. And I think black people do it a lot more because we subconsciously like beating the hell out of each other.
But what you need to understand, though, if you're going to do dumb shit, then you have to be tough. Like to quote Waka Flocka, all right, there's that song where he talks about
already.
But listen, he has a song where he says, thanks to Granny for those ass whoopings, so no more ass whoopings. Mean it makes you tougher. Like you have to, that is, you do something and it teaches you a consequence.
Life does that anyway. You don't have to have your ass beat to be taught consequence. That's why I go back to you don't have to be physically touched to get a message across to your child. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Why don't we have
but guess what? And guess what? I work in the trades and I work with a lot of kids that are 19, 20 years old that come from the white suburbs whose mommies put them in timeout and they have no concept of reality of life because they haven't ever had to struggle for anything. Like that's what you have to understand. Regardless if you agree with it or not, it still teaches consequences. Getting your ass. Hey, I got a question for you. You ever speak crazy to your dad?
Does the good outweigh the bad? Though, does the damage it do because the damage is ever reaching. If I can remember all the ass whoopings I got until I die, that's a form of PTSD.
Dude, like if you're gonna make that argument, then you should just have your mom should have had you, and she should have kept you in a room and not let you into the world. And then you would bitch about how you were isolated, and that was PTSD. Like, there's no way for you not to have traumatic issues from anything in life.
Some physical trauma there is not getting your ass whooped. If you don't get your ass whooped by your parents, that's a form of not having PTSD. You know, it is some people that never go through the world having had a spanking or gotten into a fight. So they have no physical trauma or PTSD from physical trauma. It happens.
Yeah, because people don't get shot. People don't get raped. Murder doesn't happen.
A lot of people don't.
A
lot of people don't.
Stop cutting me off and listen to what I'm saying. Because in the world, no physical shit happens ever. So you shouldn't teach your kids any of that stuff. When they get beat up in school, tell them not to fight back, just to take the ass whooping because you don't want to be violent. Like,
what does self-defense have to do with your parents beating your ass? Those are two different things.
Because it's still a consequence. And you said there's people that don't go through fights and people that don't get hit by their parents.
There are. So and those so you said, and but
there's also people. Stop.
What? No, you stop. What we were on was you were saying that. Watch it. If I use that saying PTSD, there's a lot of stuff, and I said, but there's not a lot of stuff that causes physical trauma. And so I had to point out people that have never gotten into a fight or have never had their ass whooped have never experienced physical trauma. That's where we were.
Because if you keep going with there's ifs, you're gonna run yourself into an endless stories of ifs.
But there's both sides of the argument.
Yeah, but there's people that are born with balls and a vagina. That doesn't mean that we need to start worrying about them because they're such a small minority. There's kids that don't get hit by their parents that still kill themselves in high school.
I'm talking about worrying about the physical, psychological trauma that we know it causes.
Yelling at your kids too much causes physical or causes psychological damage. Not hugging your kid enough. Like, the fact of the matter, I agree with the punishment because it teaches a kid about their actions. If you have nothing else to say about that, then that's all I have to say on it. Because you do something, you get your ass whooped, you learn a consequence from your actions. That's it.
So the only form of punishment that you are comfortable with and will ever do is physical punishment.
No.
So
you asked if I agreed with it. I told you I agree with it. That's it. It's that simple. I'm not gonna write it.
We've evolved in the conversation, so now I'm asking. Okay, since we know it causes psychological trauma, but we do realize that correction is important. What else can we do? And that's why I just asked you. So, do you think physical punishment is the only?
Yeah. You should beat your kids till they die. That's what you should do. Like, your kid is 5 minutes late, just beat them till they're in traction. That's what you should do.
No, dude, it's not. This is not about you and I personally. We're coming up with other ideas. I understand as we stand. You're on the physical punishment. I'm on the alternative punishment. I'm saying, where can we as people meet in the middle? Do you think there's a way for us to meet in the middle, knowing what we know on both sides, what it does?
Because everyone here has been grounded. Everyone here has been put in the corner. We've all been punished on other sides besides physical punishment. But the fact of the matter is, if you have a gun and you never practice with it, you never use it, you get put in situations where you need to use it and you don't, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't benefit nothing. It doesn't. Kids that I know a kid right now that his father died, and her kid was like 11, 12 years old and was acting out. And he kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. Guess what happened once he started getting his ass smacked? He corrected his behavior. If your kid has no fear of consequences, they're going to keep doing the same thing. Because I don't know about you, but I used to be grounded all the time. All the time. Didn't stop me from doing anything. Like, if I don't want to listen, I'm not going to listen.
Right. That's ass whoopings or not. Okay, question. Would you use the paddle, like the paddle that you said you got a spanking with? Would you use that on your child?
No.
Because, like, I used to get whoopings with extension cords, braided switches, goddamn it, what are they, wiffle ball bats. Been having my foot on my throat, almost passed out. That shit there to me is fucking overboard.
Yeah, but do you know why that is? Because it was probably a woman that was punishing you.
Oh yes, it was definitely a black woman.
It has nothing to do with her being white or black. It has to do with the fact that you have a penis, and at some point you're taller and stronger than her, and the only way that she can make you feel it or make you fear her is by using a object that is harder than her hands. As a dad, you don't need to do that.
Psychological trauma. Women don't have to do it either. Like I said earlier, I think women just enjoy. Women in general enjoy inflicting pain on other people.
I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm saying as a father, you don't need an object. I
always used the belt. True that. On all my kids, when they did get spankings, it was always a belt, and it was never overboard.
But that's the thing. You don't even need a belt. You have enough physical strength yourself to where your kid is going to feel you. You're not going to hurt your kid in a sense that it's going to be super bad for them, but it's going to be enough to where they're not going to laugh at you. I was laughing at my mom at 6 years old getting whooped by her. I used to laugh at her. I used to piss her off more. There comes a point in time, like my mom's 5'2" or 5'3". I'm 6'3". I've been taller than my mom since I was like 10. Like, women have to escalate the violence because A, they're emotional, and B, they're not as strong. And at some point, like, especially with boys, you get stronger than they do, and they know it. And like, it's how it goes.
So isn't that a good reason for why we shouldn't have corporal punishment? Because we do know there's a lot of single parent homes out here where it's the moms inflicting this damage out to these men that's slickly emasculating them.
Well, what you have to understand is it would be better if there was two parents.
Speak on it.
But it would be better if there was two parents.
No, I'm saying go into depth. Why?
That's it.
Because do you say that because you feel like the dad would kind of step in and be like, it's over? Are you saying that both of them would police each other if there were two parents?
Well, the thing of it is fathers are logical. Men naturally are more rational, and they don't think so much with their emotions. Women do think with their emotions. When women get upset or mad, those emotions they inflict on you. Men in the household is a barrier between the children and the mom. Because as women get older, with kids that get older, their behavior becomes more toxic in single parent households.
Yeah, so you just delivered an even stronger case for repealing the 19th. And for the people that don't know what the 19th Amendment is and what repealing means, it means take away women's right to vote. And like I said, I agree with that, because even with simple shit, like I posted the a picture of Cardi B with Joe Biden and a picture of Trump with Cube, and I said that they had time for Cardi B, but they didn't. Who brought nothing to the table, but they didn't have time for Ice Cube. And of course, this woman comes on and she said, saying what? And there was this tweet from like from like May, where the Biden's campaign manager was like, "Here, Ice Cube, we sent this out." And I was like, "Well, lady, first of all, that had nothing to do with what I said." And I was like, secondly, if you know anything about that backstory, Ice Cube saw that tweet, and from that moment, he read Biden's plan. He said it sucked and it did nothing for black people specifically. So he created his own. As his plan was picking up steam, Dems reached out to him. He wanted to talk to him about it. They was like, "Well, we don't know because we're not in office yet. We'll talk afterwards." So they did not want to meet with him. They still currently have not wanted to meet with him. Yet this woman wants to argue with me just because she doesn't like Trump. That's simply it. It's amazing how these women are ignoring all the shit about Joe Biden and just saying, "Well, fuck it. I don't like Trump, so Biden gets my vote." I know Biden's a slime ball, so I'm with you on repealing the 19th. I mean, for a while that like we voted plenty of presidents without women's help.
Definitely, we make society without women's help. Society won't run without men.
And that's why I created the Toxic Masculinity Show, because this is like one of the few forums where men can actually talk about men shit, and people be like, "Well, it's weird, but the nigga got a point." Because you women are out of control. Y'all don't even think about the shit y'all say anymore. Y'all just bloop, bloop, bloop. It's like y'all on autopilot to say stupid shit. Dennis, I dropped the link a long time ago. You don't want to do nothing. You just fucking with me.
Well, this is what makes me laugh.
What are my issues with women? My issues with women are 95% of them are fucking useless. You see my page all the time. You know what my problem with women is. And every time you say something, you haven't told me I'm wrong about them. The link is in the comment section. You can pop up and ask me, and I'll tell you again.
So I honestly think that I think women as a whole are trash. Like, I just think they're trash. Like, yeah, I just think they're trash.
Yes, you can do it on your phone, punk. Quit lying.
And on top of it, not only do I think they're trash, but I just think it's funny that anyone that wants to vote for like Joe Biden, especially a Democrat, like anyone that wants to vote for a Democrat is just, they do not do any sort of reading. They don't do any sort of research. Like, they really don't care about anything. You can't care about anything if you want to vote for a Democrat.
They're just on autopilot. I would rather not vote if I don't like either candidate than I just blindly give my vote to a Democrat. I would rather write my name in on the damn ballot, which is legal for you people that say, I don't, it's the, and you know what they say now? He's the lesser of two evils. So you still pick the evil, and this makes sense to you.
I'll never vote for a Democrat again. Like, it won't happen.
Are you familiar with the Hunter Biden rundown?
Oh, definitely. I've been ahead of this for months. I knew about this shit before, bro.
Give me the rundown, since the debates are tonight and we just want to shit on the Democrats because they've been shitting on Trump for the past 4 years. Give us the rundown about crack smoker there.
Okay, so back in the 90s when Biden, when Biden was senator, he passed a bill that made it harder for Americans to declare bankruptcy. Well, the bill that he wrote happened to just help the credit company that his son Hunter worked at. It was very beneficial to that credit card company. And also, when he went and became in charge of China and Iran and Ukraine, when he was the point man for those projects, Biden got money. Hunter Biden got money from those. And when Hunter went to China, there are photos in that laptop of him having sexual actions with girls that are under the age of 18. And there's pictures of him slapping and abusing little Chinese girls in China and smoking crack. And his dad openly sniffs children and kisses them on the mouth in public.
He sniffs them.
Yes, he does. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to share a picture right here.
I think I can do screen share. I'm not sure. Hold on. I had to open it on desktop. So let's see.
Okay, so for all the women that are out there. Okay, so he disappeared. All right, so I'll screen share this. So for all the women out there, you guys should get a man.
Yeah, screen share if you can.
I can. So for all the women out there that you should get a man that kisses you like Biden kisses his granddaughter. So this picture right here, this is his granddaughter, and she's 19, and he's kissing her on the mouth. Here's another picture of him kissing his granddaughter on the mouth. 19.
Dennis, it says your device is not connected. What you might have to do is your 3-dot option in the corner, hit that and go to where it says desktop. Show desktop. But it's saying your device isn't connected.
So here's a chick. Here's a girl right here that he's getting real close to her, and she's not feeling very comfortable. Here's a picture of him sniffing this woman's hair right here. Here's a picture of him smelling this Chinese girl's hair right here. Here's a picture of him kissing this little boy on the mouth.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good, Biden. It is not looking good.
Here's a picture.
Oh, no. But yeah, they said that. I think they said Hunter Biden got caught with some child porn. Now, if he doesn't get arrested, if he doesn't get arrested, will these Democrats be outraged? They're outraged about all these kids in cages and all of this other crap. If he has child porn on his computer, he's smacking around little Chinese girls, are you Democrats going to be equally as outraged? I'll wait. And will you still vote for his daddy? Because a lot of y'all don't like Trump's sons because of his daddy.
So here's a picture right here of Joe Biden grabbing a little boy from behind around his mouth as he tells him something. I don't know what's going on here. This is kind of, I don't know why he would be doing this. It's kind of peculiar.
Joe, damn, y'all president like him young. Y'all gonna ignore this, right? But y'all gonna say Trump said grab him by the pussy. He's talking about grown women though. Don't all men like to grab women by the pussy?
I don't know if you know this, but I've grabbed a few women by the pussy in my lifetime.
I got 4 baby mamas. It comes with the territory. Yes, I've grabbed a few pussies in my lifetime, and I'm not ashamed of it.
But yeah, I like anyone that wants to vote for the Democrats just doesn't even read about the Democrats. They just don't care. They just don't care about anything.
You planning on watching the debate?
I'll probably end up watching the debate. You know, it's gotta support.
Let's stream it and give commentary.
I gotta support my dude.
I just want to see. I just want to watch it so I can pinpoint the shit that he says that's gonna send Black Twitter into an uproar. I can pinpoint the shit every single time. I was like, this gonna be on Twitter. This finna be on Twitter. This finna be on Twitter. But I think it'd be cool to have like a little panel, one screen actually watching it, and then us like acting like a boxing panel scoring round for round.
It's not even on till 9 tonight.
Yeah. Oh, is it not? What are you, an hour ahead of me?
I am.
Yes, it's 8 my time, which is shit. It's 6:30 here now. I don't know, man.
7:30 here.
If you want to do it, give me a ring ding. I guess we did enough. We talked shit about women. We talked shit about Democrats. We agreed to disagree on this whooping your kids' ass thing, although he did agree that we should be able to just whoop women's ass. I think he agreed with that.
Anyone can get it.
Discipline.
Yeah, anyone can get it.
Savage, let these good people know where to find you at on your social media and good stuff.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at savage_red_recovery. That's where I put all my photography up because I am a photographer. You can also find me on YouTube at Savage Red Recovery. I do have a channel, and I'm also on Twitter as red_savage, I think, or savage red. Let me look. I never really get on Twitter that much. Yeah, okay, I'm at Savage. My name is Savage_red_recovery, but I'm at red_recovery, and I'm on Facebook at Savage Red Recovery.
And as always, I am at MoneyBoy Trey on everything. Savage, is the woman God?
No.
Yes, she is.
No.
Break it down.
They're not God.
Break it down. Take us out. Break it down.
The seed has the life.
Because this is what our next show is going to be about. So I'm going to let him give me some good reasons of why the woman isn't. I'm going to soak it up. And we're going to come back to y'all with another stream on this. We've been building on this one for a while. I just had to tease him. I say she is, even though I talk shit about him, because everybody can be judged in my book, including God, even the biblical one in my book. But hey, thank y'all for tuning in. This is Toxic Masculinity. I'm your host, MoneyBoy Trey, and we are out.
MoneyBoy, Trey, MoneyBoy, Trey.
Private jet flights overseas.